What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is our super cheap turbo Civic. We picked this car up for $500 quite a while back on the channel, and we brought this thing home, did a manual swap right off the bat, and then proceeded to build the cheapest possible turbo kit that we could put together. We decided to run the car on Honda S300, and it was a fun little combination for a while. The engine was a bone stock JDM D16B non-VTEC, so it left a lot to be desired. Now, we hopped on Facebook Marketplace and tracked down a D16 Y8. We brought that engine home, tore it down, and went through it from top to bottom. We decided to go with a fresh Z6 crankshaft, ACL oil pump, a set of Eagle connecting rods with Vitara pistons. While I was in there, I decided to fill the block with epoxy and then move up to the cylinder head, which I went through, lapped the valves, and fully hand ported. We took quite a bit of material out of that cylinder head, and then we decided to put a set of Brian Crowder valve springs with a comp cam. So it should be a pretty fun little combo matched with our maxpeedingrods GT3076R dual ball bearing turbo. Now, if you guys want to see any more on this car, we have a whole playlist dedicated to the super cheap turbo Civic, where we go over everything that we've done to this car from the day we picked it up to where it sits now. So the plan for today is to work on the tune quite a bit, get this thing out and cleaned up. We want to engage VTEC a little bit higher up in the RPMs, and then once we get the fuel map cleaned up, start turning the boost up and see how this thing takes it. So let's get through the intro and jump right into today's video. Now that we've gotten through the intro, we can grab our laptop and get this thing rolled off the lift. Now, before we get started, I do just want to say, take anything that you guys see or learn in today's video with a grain of salt. I am by no means a tuner, and I am still just beginning to learn Honda, and I am very much learning as I go. So let's get this thing fired up, go take it for a ride, and see what we can do. All right, we've got our file flashed to it. Let's go ahead and fire it up. I've had the key forward for a second, so fuel pump kicked off, so I might crank a second here, but let's go ahead and fire it up. Oil pressure still looks killer good. So let's let this thing idle up to temp and we'll go take it for a ride. All right, guys, let's go take this thing for a ride. I do kind of wish that I put a boost gauge over here too, not gonna lie. Because it's hard to watch the laptop and AFR and boost. Just all at the same time, it's hard. But we're gonna do what we can as we can here. Hit spacebar, get our log going. All right, it looks like our boost control worked that time.
You sure about that?
So,
you sure about that?
Which is a good sign. Hit boost cut again, I think. So maybe we do have something going on with boost control, because it shouldn't just be running right up to the cut like that. And I think I even raised it to like 12 psi. I didn't really see if it went super lean, or rich I mean. But it didn't feel like a lean cut, it felt like a boost cut. So let's go. We're gonna stop at our beach house because we're over this way, and we will take a look at our log quick. Sorry for any wind noise, it's a little breezy down here at the beach, but I'm looking at our last log that we just did on the way over here, and as you guys can see, we're at 50% throttle right here, and then as we floor it, we're at 72 right there, and we hit 4,400 RPM, and our VTEC kicks on. It did kick on, so that's a good sign. But then, as you can see, coming into VTEC, looked pretty decent. It's a little fat, but then we get to VTEC, and right there's 11.5, 11.1, 10.5. So it gets really fat once again as we're in VTEC. So we're gonna have to pull a little bit more fuel out of it once it's in VTEC. But as you can see right down here at the bottom, our map or boost, we floor it, boost starts coming up. This thing actually starts to spool decently quick for what it is. But as you can see, boost just keeps climbing, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on. We hit a cut right in there. You can see it just completely cut, and it made 12.6 pounds, and then cut and then dumped everything out of it. So not exactly sure why we're still hitting that boost cut. Like I said, we have our boost control set for 25% duty cycle, which honestly should be gate. It just should be whatever's on the gate. So we tried disabling this, still having the same issue where it's over boosting. So I'm not positive what the issue is yet. I'm starting to think that maybe it is something mechanical. Either the gate isn't functioning properly, or we have a boost leak in the line going to the gate. So we're gonna head it back to the house and take a look at this thing. We might take the gate off, make sure it's still functioning how it should, and also double check all of our vacuum lines once again. It sucks because we have this thing running like extremely well. It drives really good. We just need to get the fueling dialed in and figure out what our boost control issue is. I'm like modulating boost with my foot right now because I don't want to just hit boost cut. Alright, let's put it back up on the lift and take a look at our wastegate and everything and see if we can't figure out what's going on with it. So we got this thing home yesterday, and as you guys can tell, it is the next day. It has been raining all morning. It seems like it does nothing but rain here lately, but we've got the easy up set up, and we're going to try to figure out what our boost control issue is. I really want to figure out why this thing keeps trying to make all of the boost. I mean, we're going to want it to make all the boost at some point, but to get the tune dialed in, I'm looking for like 6 to 8 PSI. So we're going to pull the wastegate off of this thing and inspect it, make sure that it's functioning properly, and also check all of the lines going to it. So we're going to dive into that. And then also, once I got it home yesterday, it was running great, but the valve train did seem a little bit noisy. We did run through and adjust the valves in the last video, but now that we've put a little bit more miles on this thing, I think I'm going to check them again. So let's get the wastegate pulled off. We'll start trying to figure out what our boost control issue is, then take this thing back out for a ride and see if we have our boost under control. So I think we might have our boost control issue figured out. Ignore the valve cover being off. I was waiting for Dad to get here to give me a hand, but you can see we've got our electronic boost controller here. We took the line off it, which is this line. And the way I have it plumbed is that line comes down here and it is tapped into the compressor housing on the fitting that came with the turbo itself. And what we did was we ran from that to a T, which goes to the bottom of the gate and our boost controller. And then from the boost controller, it would come out and go to the top of the gate so that we can apply pressure to keep the gate closed when we want. But what's happening is we can't blow through it. So I'm thinking that maybe this is threaded, but they didn't drill through for some reason or another. So we're gonna go down there and see if we have Dad put pressure to that line, if our gate functions how it should. If it does, it's not a gate issue. It is something with the fitting we have at the turbo. So let's go under there and look at the gate. All right, so you guys can see I've got my dump tube off of the wastegate. Let's have them put pressure to it and see if the gate moves. And the gate is opening when we put pressure to it. So that leads me to think that we're just not getting pressure on that line for one reason or another. So let's try taking the fitting out of the turbo, routing it somewhere else, and see if it fixes our issue. So now that I think we have our boost control issue figured out, I think I've got a plan to resolve it. It's just very weird to me because I'm not sure if you guys can see down in there, but we have that quick connect fitting right there on the turbo compressor housing. And it was tapped. I never checked to make sure it was like a hole all the way through. It was tapped though, and there was a fitting there. So I just swapped it out and went to use it, but we're definitely not getting anything through it because I can't blow into it. So air must not be coming out of it either. So what we're gonna do is revert back to how we had it set up with the old motor. As you guys can see, we have this little aluminum cheater pipe here. I used to have a fitting drilled into it, but we use that hole to mount a temp sensor. So what we're gonna do is pick a spot. I'm gonna drill into it. We'll tap it for an 1/8 inch NPT port. We'll put one of those quick connects in, and we will run a line from there to our boost controller and tee it off to the bottom of the gate, so this thing can go back to functioning how it should, and hopefully that should solve our issue. So let's go ahead and get this taken out of there, and we will start getting to work. We'll go ahead and get these clamps loosened up. And now we can take this over there, get it drilled and tapped, and hopefully we can use this for our boost signal. So I think we have decided to go ahead and put it right about there. That'll give us the ability to run this wherever we need to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get it drilled right there. We're gonna use a 21/64 drill bit, an 1/8 inch NPT tap, and then get this quick connect fitting hooked up. Now that we've got it drilled out, we can go ahead and tap it. I'm pretty happy with how that feels starting, so we're going to put some thread sealant on it, and then we will run this thing in. So we're just going to use some of this True Blue thread sealant. Stuff seems to work pretty decent, so we'll go ahead and get some of that smeared on there. We're going to go ahead and carefully get this started in here. Actually feels like it's tightening up pretty decent. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. This swivels, so you don't have to worry about lining that up, but I'm going to stop while we're ahead, leave it right there. That's going to work perfectly fine for us. We'll let that stuff dry and tack up, and we can get this thing thrown back on. So we've made a new discovery in the boost control issue. So I went to take the line off of here, reroute it to the fitting that we just made in our charge pipe. Of course, I already drilled and tapped that. Well, I went to take the line off the turbo, and I found out why we weren't getting a signal and why we couldn't blow through it. Looks like a mud wasp or a dirt dauber or whatever made a nest in here, and this thing is plugged up solid. So kind of sucks because we already drilled and tapped for this fitting. So not 100% sure what I want to do here yet, but for now we are going to go ahead, clear this line out, see if we can blow through that line into the turbo, because I think I would rather use that for boost control, because I think we're going to get more boost here than we would up here in the charge pipe after it goes through the intercooler and everything, which might make our spring act like a lighter spring, which is what we want. So I'm going to try to clear this out, see if we can blow through that into the turbo, and then we will decide what we want to do from there. So a little bit of change of plans here since we found out the line was just plugged. I put a new line on here going to the fitting on the turbo. And as you can hear, coming right out of the turbo. So that's all working fine. It was not the turbo or Max Speeding Rod's fault whatsoever. It was just a dirt dauber or mud wasp or whatever made a nest inside that line. So now that we've already got this drilled and tapped for this fitting, we might as well go ahead and utilize it. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this line directly to the bottom of the gate so that it opens as early as possible, and then we'll just use boost control to force it shut when we want. And then we'll use this fitting here to run to our Mac valve, so we don't have this long double teed in fitting going all the way across the engine bay. This will go directly to wastegate. This one will go directly to the boost control solenoid. So I'm going to go ahead and get that plumbed in real quick, and then we should be good to go as far as the boost control is concerned. Going to go ahead and get our charge pipe put back together here. Now that we've got our boost control issue figured out, I'm pretty confident that it's going to work, but we already had our wastegate tube off the car, so I figured we'd go ahead and address a little bit of an issue that we've been having with it. The way it goes down with the new engine, it comes very close to the oil return line coming from the turbo back to the oil pan. When you wrap them with heat wrap, they are basically touching. So while we had it off, I decided to modify it a little bit. We've got it right here in the vise, and as you guys can see, I decided to make a couple little slices right here, and then I used the die grinder to take a little bit of material out, and we were able to bend that over to make that a tighter radius bend, which actually worked out great and got it far enough away from the oil return that I'm not too worried about it. And then while we were there, I decided to make a couple cuts here, bend it over and up, and now this pipe goes in line with our 3-inch exhaust. So we're gonna wrap that thing with some heat wrap as soon as the paint dries, and then we'll be ready to throw that back on the car. So as you guys can see, we've got our wastegate tube back on. It almost perfectly lines up with the exhaust, which I'm much happier about. It used to be literally way over here under the pan, so I'm much happier with where that comes out. And it gives us a little bit of an air gap between this drain line. Before, they were physically touching, so that little bit of gap is better than what it was. If we have an issue, we can always remake this or remake this line. I'm gonna have to remake this drain line at some point anyways, because I don't like how tight it is, so worry about that when we get to it. But for now, this gives us much more room, and I like where it comes out much better. So I think we're finally ready to fire this thing up and see if we have boost under control. All right, so we've got this thing rolled off the lift. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up. And then we're also gonna go back into our boost tables and just disable the boost controller, see if that actually functions how it should now. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Alright guys, so we're gonna go take this thing for a ride. I'm not sure why my idle keeps changing AFR on me, but we want to drive this thing. At least see if we've got the boost controlled. Now we should be able to flat foot it, and it should modulate it right around 6, 7, 8 pounds. We still have boost cut set, I think, at 12, but we should have it under control now. The gate should be functioning. So we'll just watch our AFRs. Sorry about the windows and wind noise, guys. It is humid and hot today. So that's a good sign. Looks like it stayed right at 5.3 pounds, which is absolutely perfect. So it seems like our gate is doing its job. Let's go ahead and try to hop back on, and we'll see if it's actually controlling the boost how it should. I'm gonna go ahead and start our log. And we'll just keep an eye on our AFRs. There in the upper RPMs, but we didn't hit boost cut, which is phenomenal. All right, so we had to stop here real quick anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look at this log. Go zoom full. Is where we floored it. So let's take a look at what we've got. So right here we start to floor it. Boost starts coming up. 5.9 pounds, 6 pounds, 6.5, and then it just holds 6.5 all the way out. So our boost control is finally working. Now it is fat in here. For a little bit early on there, it's like 11.5 right where we want it, and then it goes all the way down to 10.5. So we definitely have some work to do there. 11.2 it holds. So it's a little bit on the fat side, so we'll have to do some adjustments there. But our boost control is working. We shifted, it went back down, and then came right back up to 6 pounds and just maintained it. So that's awesome. It looks like VTEC was working as well. So we're definitely making some good progress here, guys. That's awesome to see. So we'll just go ahead and do this. And we're gonna take out Control J. We'll minus 3% for now and see what that does, and then we will give it another try. Save that log. So as you guys could see, I don't know if you can see it on camera too well, but it actually goes a little bit lean, rich, lean. So we got a little bit of work to do there, but not terrible. It was definitely in the 11s the whole time, that time at least, which is a bonus. So that's a plus. So we'll pull over somewhere, take a look at that log, and then try it again. So we can highlight holding the right mouse click, highlight like that. That'll bring us in closer. And we can see right here we went wide open. 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4, 5, 6. Got up to 6.5 to 6. It bounced between 6.5 and 6.2. So boost control is 100% working and doing a pretty good job. So what we're actually gonna do now is go into our boost control. We're gonna enable that once again. And I'm gonna shoot for between 7.5 and 10 pounds. So we're gonna go 55% on the duty cycle, and we'll keep a close eye on it. And then I'm gonna come down here to quick spool. I did a whole video on quick spool, but I'm just gonna go ahead and set this at 5 pounds for now. That should help get it up into boost a little bit faster, which might get us through some of those weird columns. So let's go ahead and set that at 5 pounds, and we will go ahead and try this again. So like I said, guys, this tune is not going to be 100% perfect. I'm learning as I go, so I'm trying to get it as close as I can, but we're going to do what we can with it here. We're going to turn the boost up a little bit. I don't want to go crazy with the boost controller yet. We will do that in an upcoming video. We'll start upping the boost on this thing and see what it makes. Hit upload again just to make sure. Looks like we're good. Let's fire it up and go take it for a ride. Take it down the road, see if I can't get those IATs a little bit lower, because that could be throwing us off a little bit too. Get our IATs down a little bit before we do anything here. Take some more fuel out of it still. It's so hot the camera keeps getting overheated, so let's try it again. Still goes fat. All right, I'm gonna have to let this camera cool off for for a little while, guys. We might head back to the house. It is so freaking hot out here. We'll head back to the house and take a look at this data and go from there. So as you guys seen, we were finally able to take this thing out and make some rips without it hitting boost cut. So I'm super happy that we got our boost controller issue figured out and we have boost under control. It all came back to that plugged line from the mud wasps. So I'm super happy that that's taken care of, because now I can start chipping away at our fuel map and get closer and closer to being able to turn the boost up on this thing and make some real power. Now I have to say, today we only made about 8 pounds at our max, but 8 pounds on this motor felt much more like 15 plus pounds on our old JDM D15B. So even with the lower compression, with the Eagle rods and the Vitara pistons, this thing is definitely making some more steam than the old engine did. So like I had mentioned, I have a whole bunch more to learn as far as tuning goes, but I'm just chipping away at our fuel map, getting it closer and closer. And once we get this thing dialed in, I'll be ready to start turning up the boost a whole bunch more, because we have a ton of room to go. So as always, I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and check us out on all of our other social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, and Bought to Build Official on Instagram. And we will catch you on the next one.